Hello, my divine souls. Welcome to Spiritual Bloom, where we bloom within our consciousness, with your spiritual guide and twin flame coach, Neha. In today's episode, we will be talking about the difference between 3D and 5D, the real meaning of experiencing this twin flame connection in this 3D reality in planet Earth and through 5D through our state of consciousness. So, there's something that no one tells you in this journey. You can be deeply in love with someone, you can feel them constantly, and know that they are your person, yet they are not with you. They don't call you, they don't show up when you need them the most. Sometimes they don't even choose you and act like a stranger. So how can something feel so real and still not exist in your physical reality? The answer lies in understanding the difference between 3D and 5D connection. And once you truly understand this, everything about your journey will start to make sense. So let's start firstly with the 3D, and it is the 3D reality where we say the actual pain lives, or where the actual pain exist. And how to balance this pain, it is all exercised, or it has to be understood in 3D reality, because it is only then you can balance your pain, your suffering and your traumas. So as we all know that the 3D is the world of physical actions, words, time, ego, self-conditioning, and there are many kinds of boundaries, limitations. So it's the version of reality where the love is measured by questions such as, are they texting me? Are they choosing me? Are we together? Will he ever give me commitment? So these are the kind of questions we often ask in a twin flame journey through the 3D perspective. So in the twin flame journey, the 3D is where one person becomes the runner and the other becomes the chaser. Then there's another stage, as we all know, which is the separation, silence and confusion. And this is the part that hurts the most. That's why the 3D plane, or the connection in the 3D plane, is also called the connection that hurts the most. Because in the 3D, the love feels conditional. The 3D love is a conditional love. So you automatically start questioning when things don't go according to what you have imagined, or to the kind of relationship which exists in 3D plane, which are the normal relationships and not a twin flame. So you start questioning that if they love me, why are they not here? Why do they don't give me commitment? Why they are not emotionally available like other people in a normal relationship? Why do I feel everything, but in 3D plane I receive nothing? But here's the deeper truth. The 3D doesn't reflect truth. It reflects wounds. That's why whenever you come face to face or meet your twin flame and counterpart in this 3D, it starts triggering your wounds, your old patterns, your emotions, which you have suppressed it for many years. It shows the unhealed trauma, fear of intimacy, abandonment patterns, fear of rejection, ego defenses. So, in this 3D plane, when you meet your twin and suddenly your twin pulls away, it's not always about love. It's about what they cannot yet face within themselves. That's why they run away or pull away from you in this 3D. Now, let's understand what is the 5D reality. So as we all understood that the 3D reality is where the pain and suffering lives. Now the 5D is where the truth lives, which many people don't know or don't talk about, and even if they know, they don't want to accept that the truth survives in the 5D reality. So now let's move into the 5D. So the 5D is not something you can see. It's something you can experience. It's not something that is visible with the naked eyes. But the more you ascend, the more you move forward in your journey, you start experiencing things that happens in the 5D. So what does the 5D really consist of? The 5D is the dimension of energy, where you feel energetic shifts, where you start feeling telepathic communication through your consciousness. You start feeling that it is a strong soul connection. And yes, in the 5D, you start feeling unconditional love. That is why the 5D reality is the reality of truth. Why? Because in 5D, you experience unconditional love, unlike the 3D. The 3D makes you experience conditional love. It has conditions. For example, if he gives me commitment, it means he loves me. If he does this for me, it means he loves me. If he is with me when I need him the most, it means he loves me. So these are illusions of the 3D. Whereas the 5D is unconditional. It means it teaches you unconditional love. In the 5D, you and your counterpart have already been tied up through unconditional love. That's why it feels so intense in the 3D. Through your unconditional love, it does not matter what the other person does for you or will be doing for you in this 3D plane. What matters the most is that you both feel that unconditional love for each other through your energy, because it already exists in the 5D. So why there is unconditional love? Why there is consciousness, rise in consciousness in 5D? Because there is no worldly things. For example, there is no ego. There is no fear that he or she is going to run away from me. There is no runner. There is no chaser. But you are just being there in the 5D. Means you and your counterpart are already in unconditional love in the 5D. That is why you can feel their presence out of nowhere, dream about them vividly, sense their emotions, and have conversations in your mind that feel real. And the strangest part, in 5D, you already feel like you are together. Because what happens is, before things can manifest in the 3D plane, in this planet Earth, it first manifests in the 5D. That's why we always say, right, you should believe and have trust in your subconscious mind. Whatever you will feed your mind, it will come into reality. Why? It is said so because your 5D reflects your 3D. What you feed your brain, what you feed your consciousness, that will be reflected in the 3D. So, there is a deep inner knowing in the 5 dimension. That is, this connection is real. And we are not actually separated, but separation is an illusion. Why? Because we are already together in the 5D. So, at a soul level, you people are not separated in the 5D. So let's understand the paradox that why the 3D and 5D don't match and why they are so opposite from each other. This is where most people get stuck, because they get confused. They hear about 5D, but they really can't understand that how to match both the dynamics. Like how to bring the balance between the 5D and 3D dynamic, because to survive this journey, it is very important that you measure and balance both the 5D and 3D reality, because you are living in two realities at the same time. In 3D, they are distant, silent, or gone. They avoid you, they run away from you. Whereas in 5D, your counterpart is present, loving, and connected. And your mind can't understand this contradiction. No matter how much we say we are in a soul level journey, or how much we say that we are ascended souls, at the end of the day we all know that we all are humans. So the contract which you made before coming here and fulfilling your purpose as a twin, you understood that contract and you remembered that contract. But when you took birth as a human, it is natural that you forgot about that contract. And because we forgot about that contract and we are a normal human being, before we understood all these things or came into realization that we have a purpose or we are a twin and we have a counterpart, it is very difficult for your mind to understand this contradiction. So you start doubting yourself, and you doubt and wonder. Many people, they do that. Even I did. That am I delusional? That is this all in my head? Am I going mad? Or these things really exist? But you know what? Actually, what is happening? Your soul is experiencing the truth in 5D. In 5D, your human body does not align with the 5D because the truth about your contract and your counterpart is something that only your soul knows, and your soul is active in the 5D. It is active in the 3D, no doubt, but it is more aware and active in the 5D, whereas your physical body is not active in the 5D. That's why it takes so much time for your physical body and your soul to come into proper harmony with each other to understand the 5D reality. So your human self is experiencing lessons in 3D. That's why for the physical body we say that it's so important to do the inner work, to work on your chakras, to meditate, to pray, to eat clean, to exercise. Why? Because these are the forms, different kinds of forms through which you can connect your body, your human body, your soul can come into connectivity with the 5D reality. So that's why the 3D is slow, and to reach into that level of 5D, to bring your human body, soul into alignment with the 5D, you have to do the inner work. And the 3D operates on healing timelines. That's why we have to do the inner work, because until and unless you don't heal your timelines in 3D, you will never be able to come into sync with your different kinds of opening your chakras or inner work, or let it be any matter. So the 3D operates on healing timelines. That's why we say it is so important to heal or do the inner work in 3D. But the 5D exists in unity already. So the mismatch that you feel is not confusion. I know at first it feels really confusing and delusional, but once when you come into alignment with your 3D reality and you try to connect it with your 5D reality, that is the time when all the confusion fades away, and slowly and gradually you ascend through your inner work and you come into connection, or you can see you come into touch with your 5D reality. So it's misalignment between where you are and where you are becoming. Because where you are, you already know as a human being. But where you are becoming, or where you have to go as a soul, for the soul contract, for your counterpart, for your purpose. So that is what you are becoming. So to become that, you have to do inner work, you have to ascend, and you have to make a connection with the divine so that you reach your 5D reality. So that's why, due to this confusion of this 3D, 5D, the runner chaser dynamic gets very intense, and many people, they get irritated and hate it. Even I did. Okay, so the runner and chaser dynamic is not something random. This is just energy. So to understand the runner chaser dynamic and to balance this and to settle it down, you have to understand the energy exchange. You have to understand how energy works and what energy really is. In 5D, energy is everything. Just like in 3D, money is everything to survive. In the same way, in the 5D, energy is everything to survive the 5D. So usually, the chaser is more emotionally open and the runner is more emotionally guarded. But both the runner and chaser, they carry wounds. The chaser fears abandonment and the runner fears loss of control. But in 5D, both souls are in harmony. There is no such chaser, there is no runner, there is no fear of abandonment, there is no fear of loss, because both the souls are in harmony in 5D. But to come into touch with that 5D, or to connect to that 5D unity of the souls, these runner and chaser, they have to work on themselves. But in 3D, the runner resists the intensity and the chaser seeks validation. So the more the chaser reaches outward, the more the runner pulls away. Not because they don't feel it, but because they feel it too deeply. And from where that feeling is coming, they feel it too deeply because they're already connected and in unity in the 5D. So to come into touch, come into connection with that 5D reality where they are already in unity, it is so important to heal those wounds in the 3D. It's like you have to balance your heart in order to control your mind, or vice versa. You have to balance your mind in order to work with your heart. But you have to work, otherwise you'll always be stuck in a loop and in confusion. So what is the shift when 3D starts aligning with the 5D? What are the significant changes you'll get to see? Here is the turning point of the journey. So when you stop trying to fix the 3D and you start aligning with the 5D within yourself, when you have done enough inner work, when you understand energy and how it works, what happens is that in the physical world, you start letting go of control. You don't have any more control issues. You don't control the connection. You don't try to control the journey. You have no expectations from your counterpart. And most importantly, out of self-respect, and you understand your self-worth, you start choosing yourself. You don't choose your counterpart, but you choose yourself first. And you understand that to ascend in this journey, you have to heal your wounds, which is very important. Because the truth is that you don't chase your twin into union. You become the version of you that is already in union. That is the difference, no? Which means that you don't chase union when you start aligning in the 5D, your 3D starts aligning into 5D, you don't chase your union. You become the version that already exists. What it exists in the 5D. So when you don't chase, when you are still, that means you have already understood the energy exchange and how it works in the 5th dimension. And that version of you is whole, is grounded, and is not in a waiting energy. So when this shift happens, something powerful occurs, the energy changes, the dynamic softens, and the 3D begins to mirror the 5D. Okay? And you start aligning with your 5D. And this also changes your entire twin flame journey. Your runner no more runs from you, and you also don't chase them anymore. But here's what most people, they don't want to hear. Your twin flame is not here to complete you, okay? They are here to expose everything within you that is not yet whole, which means healing your inner wounds. But the connection is real, the love is real, and at the end of the day, this journey is all about you. It's not about the other person. This journey is about you. That's why everything, just observe, everything is in your hands. From aligning yourself from 3D to 5D is also in your hands. To balance that energy in 3D and 5D and connecting the dots from 3D to 5D is also in your hand. If you balance yourself, the journey improves. If you balance yourself, everything around you improves, including your career, your health. So this journey is not about depending on someone else, that someone else is going to do something for me. It is about being independent and whole and having a sense of freedom, that if I can be an alchemist and join the dots of the human body which made a contract through the soul, Understanding that soul, understanding the contract, and slowly and gradually doing the inner work and connecting the dots and coming into sync with the 3D and 5D reality. That is what the entire process of twin flame journey is all about. Many people will not explain it to you what this 3D and 5D dimension is. That's why they always say, right? Even if you are not in a twin flame journey, in any other kind of manifestation series, if you have heard, they always say that always manifest in your 5D. It's all in your subconscious mind. They say so because your subconscious mind remembers the contract and your soul remembers the contract. But just remembering will not push the journey forward, right? You have to work in this 3D reality. So, joining the dots in this 3D reality and coming into alignment with your soul, with your journey, with your path and purpose in the 5D is the highest form of purpose, or we can say the highest form of freedom which you can achieve once you understand this energy exchange and maintaining and balancing out these energies in the 3D and as well as in the 5D reality. So I hope you like this episode on understanding the dynamic between the 3D and the 5D in a twin flame journey. For any kind of personal guidance, you can WhatsApp or email me. My personal contact details have been given in the description box and also mentioned in the video. For listening to me, thank you for listening to me and supporting me. I shall see you again soon in another episode.